Tonight's episode of Chunkcast is brought to you by Koala Ink Studios. Tune in every Monday for a new episode of Quidjabo and Harold on YouTube. Excellent. All right, so I'll just start here. The game of the year. Spoilers if you haven't taken time out to watch it back or get caught up on the news yet. But Clair, Obscura, Expedition 33 just slaughtered. It was a bloodbath. This may as well have just taken every award in the show. And look, I am very, very happy that this game won. Not that I've played it. I haven't played it yet. But for what it stands for. So for those of you who are unaware, this is an indie game. And it's done more than any of the big publishers and AAA studios have done in recent years. If you've noticed in the last few handful of years of the Game Awards, indie games have won Game of the Year. Or smaller games. I'll say smaller games have won the Game of the Year. And you keep seeing year after year after year for the last 5 to 10 years the same slop that's thrown our way, and we're expected to play it and enjoy it and have all of the money thrown at these publishers and developers and more and more and more, right? Live service games, microtransactions, DLC that's planned, content that's removed from the game to sell to you later, all this kind of slop and just padding. Like, these quests that'll pad out the game that don't really mean anything. But so here, like all that kind of crap that you all know, like Ubisoft games essentially modernize and standardize that approach of gaming. And I hate it. Like, it was good for a while. Like when you go back to the 360 and PlayStation 3 era, it was like, okay, cool. This is great. There's a lot of content here. But they did it in a way back then where it didn't overstay its welcome. So for those of you who don't know me very well, but like I like Norse mythology and Viking stuff, I don't want to get too far into it. It's part of my family heritage for that part of the world. And I've got a Mjolnir around my neck and an arrowhead and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoy that. So when, I am of that, or is what I'm saying. So when Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out, I was very excited because yeah, cool. I want to play something that's in the AAA space, an Assassin's Creed. I mean, I didn't think it needed to be an Assassin's Creed game, but I thought, okay, cool, here we go. Let's see what they do with it. But even I didn't finish that. I thought, yeah, hell yeah, this is going to be right up my alley. I love the art style of it. I love the mood it was setting. I liked Ivor and the whole world that they were building and stuff. And I had the statue, and I still have the hidden blade gauntlet for this one that my wife got me, and I was right into it. But then they took me right out of the game when you start doing some Asgardian missions, and like I was right in the middle of getting to know this story that was unfolding before me with Ivor and the world, the characters that he was getting to know and the quest that he was on, and all of a sudden you go into this meditative state. And you're on Valhalla in Asgard, and sorry, not on Valhalla. You're in Asgard doing all these side quests and stuff, and you have to do them to progress the story. And I was like, okay. Like I did the first couple, and I tried to progress the game a number of times, but every time I felt myself getting back into the game again, and doing these mindless quests and side quests. You get pulled into this next Asgard storyline again with Odin and like, look, it's cool, right? But that should have just been its own game, or its own dedicated expansion, not interfering with the main game. So I still haven't finished that game to this day, and it annoyed me. It really did. There's such a thing as too much, right? Let's just give the players a well-rounded experience and story in that world and those characters, instead of branching out to overarching totally separated stories and padding it out. And anyway, it didn't fit, and it is what it is. And there's a number of expansions for that game as well that I'll never probably get around to, because I was like, man, you didn't deliver it to me in the way that I think made sense to me, and it took me out of the whole experience. So when you have a game like Expedition 33, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I did look at this beforehand, but I have been keeping an eye on this game. It's on my wish list, and I will be picking it up because it looks amazing. And obviously now with all the accolades. Like it definitely has left a mark on everybody, and I will play it eventually. But from my understanding, a lot of ex Ubisoft employees work at this dev, from what I'm aware, which is a big middle finger to that company, who is a problematic company anyway. But I just thought that was hilarious that this little studio, 20 to 30 people have made this game that looks like it looks very impressive. Like it looks insane. Like some AAA games don't even get this kind of fidelity and graphics and art style and just like care. And like you can tell it's been shaped by people who loved this or love this. I'll say it in present tense. You can tell, like it, how there's some games like Valhalla, right, for argument's sake, or Shadows, Assassin's Creed Shadows, where it's been built by committee and everybody wants to put their own thing in there and like, oh, let's put this in there. Let's just expand on this. Let's throw this in there. It has no place in it, but it's going to be cool. Like, let's just do it, right? Like Assassin's Creed Shadows has a friggin' Attack on Titan mission. Like, why? Why? Assassin's Creed Origins has a Final Fantasy 15 crossover mission, and that took me out of the game for years. I played that game at launch, and when I got to this mission where I met the villain from Final Fantasy 15 and I got a chocobo instead of a camel, it took me right out of the game for years. I think it took like 5 years or something for me to go back and finish the game because I was like, okay, you just killed it for me, right? I hate that. I hate it. I really do. Just give me an experience. Just let me live the world, right? Where I think this is just exactly what I'm looking for. And it's a turn-based RPG, apparently, right? Everybody said that genre is dead, but here it is, winning Game of the Year, right? So happy days. I like turn-based RPGs. I like them, particularly when they're done really well and it's not overcomplicated. So I'm very looking forward to this. This gives me a lot of Lost Odyssey vibes. I loved Lost Odyssey. I think that's one of the best RPGs I've ever played. That story was incredible. I don't think it might get made these days, but I think that game was incredible. I would love a remake of that. I know I've got it. I can play it via backwards compatibility already, but I just think that game, it's something. If you haven't played it, go look it up. Go look it up. That and Blue Dragon, both excellent RPGs. So yeah, I will be picking this up. Very much looking forward to it. But yeah, I just wanted to give this a bit of spotlight if you haven't heard about it, and just hear it from myself, as someone who hasn't played it but has intention to buy this game, because I want to support that studio for what it stands for. And it's also a good game that I actually want to play, so I'm not just going to spend money, meaninglessly. But if you like a game that's made with love, right, that doesn't have a game made by committee, that isn't ran and directed by like shareholders or people that aren't really directly involved with the game, which a lot of games are these days in the AAA game space. Like the vision is often lost to algorithm and data-driven decisions and demographic-based decisions. Like I hate that. It's killed gaming. But if you look at this as just a well-rounded vision, a story, go support it. Maybe if you haven't played turn-based RPGs before, but maybe this is the one that really goes, it makes you understand and appreciate that kind of gameplay. It's something different. A lot of the Japanese-based RPGs, I've moved away from turn-based. Oh man, I'm trying not to sneeze. I've moved away from a turn-based combat mechanic and gone more like real-time action and stuff, which, like, I get it. It's more accessible and Western, right? Westernized, which is basically why they've moved in that direction. But there's something to be said about the turn-based strategy type gameplay. You can take time to think about what you're going to do and just like live in that combat moment for a bit longer and just like think ahead a bit. Like, okay, if I do this, then my turn next is going to do this, and then the villain might do that. And like, I like that. You can take your time with it. You don't have to feel rushed. Like Final Fantasy VII remake, I love that. That was amazing. But I did find myself sometimes where it was like hold attack to win. Like I played through the story and I would get through a combat and I didn't really feel like much of a strategy to it. Like it was just like hold down attack and hit that thing until it dies and I'll heal or something. And then, okay, I've won. Like it just felt a bit like that sometimes. So anyway, I'm going a bit off tangent here, but anyway, well done. Well done to this studio. Well deserved, I think. And I've been saying this for a long time. I want the pendulum to swing back the other way. Like live service games, you're done. Live service games, always online games, like all that kind of stuff, you're done. Like I know still some of the biggest games in the world are live service games and online only, but you're done. I mean, if you want publishers and studios and whatever, like if you want those accolades, like if you want something that's actually going to sell well, right, and not just base your success on the potential whales that are out there, because there's only so many hours and so much money on that little percentage of people, right? We've seen plenty of games come and go that try and do the next best thing or the next best, hero shooter or next best Fortnite light thing or whatever, and they die. They die in a whimper. Like you don't hear from them ever again. Whereas games like this, where it leaves a mark and it leaves a stamp on it, and okay, wow, it makes people go, damn, right? And I know that's not always a sure thing either, but damn, and like, gone were the days where you could have single player experiences that, had that water cooler conversation, or in the classroom or the playground or the office, right? And that's kind of gone away by like, oh yeah, I won 2 or 3 rounds of X game last night. Yeah, look at that, cool. Like no one's really talking about like, hey man, I just finished Expedition 33, and oh man, like it did this, and there was this cool moment. Like I don't really hear a lot of that in my office anyway. Like I'm not really hearing a lot of that. It's like, oh yeah, I played Dota or COD or Battlefield 6 or some obscure indie title. It's like, okay, all right. But anyway, I just want the gaming space to go back to more. This is just my self-bias, I guess, coming through here. I want more of this, right? Astrobot won last year, and that was awesome. I felt the same thing. I'm like, well, yeah, make a good, solid platformer game that is endearing, that everybody loves, and it's good that it wasn't Mario, right? And it won Game of the Year, and I'm still waiting for that to go on sale because I want to buy it. I'm sure as hell not paying $130 for it, Australian, but I want to play that, right? And what was the Game of the Year before that? That was it was a 2-player game. Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's not Split Fiction. It was the other one. It Takes Two. God, that was awesome. That was awesome as well. More of that. So there was a couple more games like that have come out that my wife and I have played, and those have been great experiences. So I'd rather play games like that with my wife, like a single player / co-op game, right? That we can play together, or split screen or system link or whatever. All right. And I can't stand, to me, like the live service type of games, looter shooters and all that. Like it just loses me. I'm not interested. Or I'm not interested. I feel bad because, my wife likes to play games together, which is great. It's awesome. I'm not complaining about that at all. But it's like the selection of games that are available to us that we can play together are all these like, water thin, like looter shooters or just thin kind of experiences of multiplayer games. We just grind out little things. And it just bores me, right? I'd love to just run through like Gears of War 3 or something with her again. Or, the next Gears, like E-Day, when that comes out. I'm going to play co-op with my wife on that one because, it's like, let's go on this ride together. So we don't need to like grind out 100 hours. And anyway, I'm old man shaking fist right now. But anyway, well done. Well done, Clair Obscura, Expedition 33. Can't wait to see what your next game is. And this is their first game they've ever shipped, by the way, right? It helps when you have the pedigree of experience that these guys have had. And when, like, if you look into where all these people have come from, they're definitely talented people and they know what they're doing, right? They know what they're doing clearly. So yeah, look, if they do, I don't know, Expedition 34, I don't know what the next game is going to be, but if it's different than this, I hope they don't go too different. I hope they don't get bought out or something. Some overlord buys them and then starts dictating, what kind of game they need to make. Like, make another Souls-like game with microtransaction elements. Like, God, please, let's not do that. Anyway, so yeah, let's move on to the rest of the Game of the Year talk. There's quite a few things in here I want to just highlight and some of my reasoning behind it. But anyway, let me know what you thought of this game. If you've played it, do you recommend it? Are you okay with this game winning? Some people are like, what the hell? You know, this won Best RPG of the Year as well. I don't know, a lot of people were upset about that because they thought Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 should have won. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, let's just move on to the rest of it. Yes.